r/askreddit. Kids who sung on Kidz Bop. How was that experience and did you ever put that on a resume? I remember thinking that it was something that a lot of kids did. Younger me was really surprised to find out that most kids my age never took an audition. I thought it was something like going to the dentist or the doctors. Right? The ads showed like hundreds of kids singing and dancing. Yay, we were fooled. Just like how no one remembers penis inspection day in gym class. Yo, that's so cool how Kidz Bop shows us different perspectives of the world. I knew nothing about it as a kid, but to you it was common knowledge. Learning something you thought was normal as a kid isn't universal, can be either really embarrassing or really sad. I used to lie on my Tinder profile and say I was a celebrity. When I got matched up and they asked how I was a celebrity, I'd make them guess where they know me from and then I'd reveal I was in Kidz Bop. I got unmatched a lot. That's hilarious. Those people were losers. It shows you had drive and talent from a young age, great qualities in a partner. I said, hey kids, it's time for Barney Says for an episode of Barney when I was 4 and do the same thing today. It would be less embarrassing to put that on your resume than to be one of those people who has their SAT scores on their LinkedIn. Source: I was one of the latter category for far too long. I have genuinely never seen that. Very interesting. And I'm even connected with lots of young people on LinkedIn, just graduated college. Side note, if it's not that, it's something else. It is alarming how unprepared at skills like emailing and resume building many college students, and not just freshmen, are. I am a highly paid professional now, but I still put that I mowed lawns in college to get by on my resume. I like the reminder of where I came from, and I won't work with anyone doesn't respect that. Does LinkedIn even help anyone get a job? I have been applying for months and I got nothing. Edit: I graduated in graphic design and I work part-time in retail. What should I use to at least get my resume looked at more, since I am not even getting spammed by recruiters? My boyfriend did 2 live concerts with Kidz Bop. He's in IT now, so it didn't make it onto his resume lol, but it's a cool thing to share at parties. Edit: thanks for all the love guys. I am reveling in every moment of my 15 minutes of Reddit fame. Well, back in the day I was shaping up to be an it guy, but the lifestyle of a multinational Kidz Bop live tour was so fast paced that it caught up to me after just 2 sugar crash inducing nights of absolute hedonism. While I knew I didn't have it in me to be my generation's Kid Richards, I still wanted to hang on to a semblance of my glory days. So, I traded in the all-access lifestyle of an it guy for the online access lifestyle of an IT guy. Okay, that's nice, but can you just let me know roughly when Slack will be up and running again? My cousin was a Kidz Bop kid. It's how she got her start in the talent industry. She is now a model, reality TV star, and professional musician. I saw a video of her and her family band on one of those talent shows. How does the rest of the family feel about her exposure? What's her name? I always thought all those kids were thrown in a giant refining facility and merged to create one teenage pop star at a ratio of 500 bops to 1 pop. That, or one they duke it out in a Hunger Games type of arena we don't hear about. It's where the slime came from for Double Dare 2000. The experience, well, I was bullied my whole high school career about it, but the only purpose it had on a resume was if you were going to be a backup singer dancer. You could say that Kidz Bopped you. Hey, for what it's worth, I got bullied through high school, but I didn't get anything to put on my resume. Why? I would put it on any resume just to get an interview. As someone who reads resumes, this would be one I would ask to come in, as long as your other experience was relevant, but would definitely put you closer to the top. Why didn't you just own that shit? Like, yay bruh, I was on the Bop. That's dope, man. Oh boy, I know I'm late to the game, but I remember working with Linda Sepchin, creator of Kidz Bop and founder of Sepchin Entertainment Group, and she is a straight bitch. She routinely hires independent contractors and stiffs them on the bill, hires interns and never pays them, and hunts down the parents' money like a bloodhound. I knew their son, Huntington Sepchin, for 10+ years and dropped out of contact with him for him to call me out of the blue to do work for their entertainment group despite us not talking for the past 3 years. When I showed up it was clear he had no idea what he was talking about and set up this project where he was sending a 15-year-old client to Europe for a tour and had no audio engineer lined up to go with her or be there ready for them across the pond. So he commissioned a gig box for her so that she wouldn't need anyone once she got there. Big mistake. I told him that a 15-year-old and her mother may not be the best at managing their own gear. Didn't listen to me. I kept showing up hoping to fulfill the contract because honestly I was doing a favor for an old friend. Linda Sepchin was personally overseeing the project and greenlit the idea, the shoddy execution, and the poor planning while charging the client for every unnecessary step along the way. I fulfilled my end of the bargain and was extremely upset with the quality and care brought forth to these people and said it was reckless to send a child out like that with shitty equipment and no sound guy. They said it was great and they loved my work. That is until the time to pay came at least. My friend Huntington ignored my numerous phone calls, he ignored my texts, left my messages on social media on read, and never replied to my voicemails. I called the studio and talked to a receptionist who says to leave a voicemail with Carl the accountant, which I do and is never answered. I call the next week and a different receptionist says Carl doesn't work on Mondays. I call Wednesday and their receptionist says Carl doesn't work at Sepchin any longer. I call back the next week and talk to Jeff who says he remembers me, that he will write a check, and that I had to learn how to talk to people. Jeff also never sent any check. 32 days passed before I even heard from him and all he said was, "Oh, the check is in the mail, come to the studio to talk about it." I informed him that there was nothing to talk about. I completed my end of the work and needed to get paid. This is right after I graduated college and needed the money badly. This is when Linda herself stepped in to say that SEG was not responsible for my payment and it was a civil issue between me and my friend Carl, who allegedly didn't work there anymore, and Jeff were both in the email chain regarding them saying they weren't going to pay me. 28 more days pass and no money shows up. In the meantime I get a new job at a great audio company in the area and decide to call him and his mother scam artists, horrible people, and embarrassments to the entertainment industry. Guess what shows up later that week? My check in full, 55 days after the payment deadline. After arriving at my new job my manager asked me about working for Sepchin and I explained the whole situation and he said, "I only ask because my wife works at a different studio that is a competitor and I've heard they are snakes. Linda is a total bitch, so yeah, that's what working with the Kidz Bop people is like." TL. Dr. Kidz Bop is run by shady ass scam artists who trample on others to make their buck. I've got plenty of documents to back me up on this one that I am willing to share. World should know how corrupt they are. Holy fuck. That was an absolute read. Huntington Sepchin sounds like the scientific name of a creature in a mediocre children's sci-fi fantasy novel. I wrote a full comment before seeing this one. I was in the first commercial and we didn't get a cent. There was this girl in my school who was a part of Kidz Bop and boy, was she a bitch. She was a school bully and she thought she was a literal pop star. She's a cashier at Walmart now. I would go through her line and sing whatever song she sang on the album and ask what she's been up to. I was my first job and when I auditioned I only did it cause I thought it would be cool and didn't know you got paid to do it. I have put it on my resume but only sarcastically and it actually made me lose a job cause the employer thought I was lying even when I showed him proof. That's a lawsuit. Man, that makes me want to punch that employer in the face for you. I've had people refuse to believe stupid facts about me before and it's like dealing with some asshole redditor spamming that happened in real life. It can be infuriating. My cousin auditioned and failed miserably. Sorry that doesn't help, but she still brings that shit up every Thanksgiving. Does she bring it up like lol remember that time I auditioned for Kidz Bop? Hilarious, or is it more like I could have been something? Those bastards didn't know talent if smacked them in the face with its dick. I'm just curious how many legit answers there will be. 2, which is actually a lot considering the ratio of Kidz Bop singers to redditors. My friend's brother was a runner-up for this one Kidz Bop competition. In the end, they didn't choose him and he led a very happy life despite it. His singing was less than average yet he still made it to the finals stage. I think they just care about the image. So we've heard about his experience with Kidz Bop. How about Kidz Bop? I always thought a metal Kidz Bop would have been hilarious chorus of kids voices crawling in my skin. Yes, I put song on Kidz Bop on my resume. This one girl from my high school won their like talent search internet series they did years ago. I knew her in middle school and she was a super nice and normal girl. But she submitted herself to the competition and ended up winning it when we were in our freshman year. They had this celebrity do no one knew come to an assembly and announce that she won. She left the school after that and maintained a steady level of fame ever since. She was on that MTV Scream TV show, and last night I saw a poster in the bathroom of a local venue advertising a show she's gonna be doing. Pretty cool that she's managed to hang on to it all this long. Upvoting for visibility, I'm curious as well. I was in 5th grade when Thrift Shop came out and it was the biggest song in the world. My friends and I sang it at the playground but said stuff like "this is really awesome" and walk up in the club like "what up, I'm a big jock" so we wouldn't get in trouble. I didn't even know it was the Kidz Bop version until some 20-year-old overheard me singing it at a dinner party and started laughing out loud. I also remember once watching a commercial for one of those albums, like 37 or something like that, and my babysitter telling me that all the kids featured in it are famous. I flat out believed that until I was 12. What's amazing to me is that you were 10 when Thrift Shop came out. Jesus, I'm ancient. I went to high school with a kid who was into Kidz Bop CDs and like 6 commercials for the Cuties tangerines. He then got nightmarish acne and never did them again and went to college for music production. Checking Facebook, he spent the past 2 years smoking weed and going to concerts. I performed for Kidz Bop at an amusement park when I was like 8. Didn't really seem like something that was super hard to get on.